had one guy who came looking dressed for a job interview with like suit, tie, everything, and I'm there in jeans and trainers like, okay, how can we help you? Because we want it to be relaxed.
Welcome to McGraw Some Sauce, the podcast all about entrepreneurial insights, growth mindset, goal setting, and all that other lovely stuff where I get to talk to amazing, incredible people. Speaking of incredible people, I'm here with Hannah Campbell today from TaxAssist Accountants, where she works as a franchisee, meaning she has her own location in East Edinburgh, Scotland. And I've actually been to Edinburgh, Scotland, and it is beautiful. And I will go back, Hannah. I promise I will come back and I will see you and we will go for a gelato or something like that together. Hannah works at TaxAssist Accountants, where she supports small businesses and individuals with their accountancy and tax requirements. And if you are an entrepreneur or small business watching this episode, or you know anything about McGraw Some Sauce, you know how important the numbers are, and having to get them right is super key for your business, or you probably won't have a business for much longer. And you also know what it's like to have an awesome accountant in your corner with you. So I'm super thrilled to talk to Hannah today because I think she's going to be bringing some really great insights. So thank you so much for being with me here today, Hannah.
Well, thank you for having me, Nick.
Did you like that intro? Was that like the best intro?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was perfect.
This whole clip is just going to go as like the hero video on your website, and it's like, oh, talk to Hannah. We'll talk to Nick first. Well, Nick will introduce Hannah. He's now representing her.
Yeah, I'll just have this at the top of the website. That's all you need to know.
I mean, sonic branding, visual branding. This is everything you need, really. This is going to level you up for 2022. Hannah, thank you so much for being here. I know I just introduced you, but I would like you to tell me a little bit more about yourself, the work that you do, who you do it for. I would like to know a little bit more about you.
Okay. So I am 31 years old. I joined TaxAssist as an employee about 7.5 years ago. And then about 6 years ago, I became a partner and partial owner in the business. We help small businesses and individuals, mainly from our local area. That's how the franchise model works. But now with LinkedIn and internet, and even with local clients moving further afield, we also now help a lot of people who might be down in England. I mean, we only deal with UK tax affairs, so we don't really help anyone further afield than the rest.
Oh, so you can't help me with my Canadian tax law? I got to find someone local?
No, I mean, I can probably recommend a couple of people.
Okay.
And actually, because we're a franchise, TaxAssist has now launched in Canada. So I think there are multiple shops already there. And USA has just got its first shop as well. So TaxAssist is going global as a franchise. But we help small businesses and individuals. So small businesses can be anyone with turnover up to £2 million a year. So I don't think that's that small. I think there's so many businesses who would love to be turning over that sort of money each year. And we help them with anything that they need. VAT, bookkeeping, running their payroll, the obvious compliance work of tax returns, but also we are just here and able to empathize with our clients. They're small businesses, we're a small business, we know what it's like, we know the teeth and pains, the problems that might come up, and we're happy to help just discuss those from one human to another with our clients. We aren't a stuffy accountant's office in a 6th floor in a building somewhere. We are just off the local high street so that our clients feel comfortable just popping in and having a chat with us.
And I love that you kind of, painted a clear picture for me there of how you're a little bit different, right? I think for especially for creatives like me, talking to anybody who's like a lawyer or accountant or a banker or anything like that can be an intimidating process. I'm not nervous to meet anybody in the world. I'm extrovert's extrovert. I love people. I like going out into the world and meeting new people, like today, what we're doing. But walking into like a bank or like an accountant's office to like sit down, I'm just like, what am I supposed to present to these people that will help them help me, right? But it's nice to know that you kind of you recognize that it's like a human business.
Yeah, and I mean, we get the same. We get people showing up here for a chat with us who are quite nervous. I had one guy who came like he was dressed for a job interview, bless him, like suit, tie, everything. And I'm there in jeans and trainers, like, okay, how can we help you? Because we want it to be relaxed. And a lot of time people will leave our offices knowing and saying, I feel like a weight's been lifted. You've made that so much simpler for me. And that's what we're here to do. We love hearing that feedback.
Yeah, and that's key, and that's, that'll help people build a stronger bond with you. I think a lot of times, people go into business, and I'm going to unpack some of this a little bit later with you as well in some questions that I have coming up. But if you want to start a business to make money, that is an honorable thing to think. Of course, if you don't make money and you don't have client retention and all that stuff, you probably just have a fun hobby, right? So money should be one of maybe 5 or 6 defining factors of you starting a business or being an entrepreneur. But the people part of it, remembering that you're in a human business, is so key, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes, and well, I hope you find this funny. If not, I'm sorry. I used to think I didn't like people. So when I came from industry, so in accountancy, you work in industry, where you work in, say, a finance team for a company, or you work in practice like what I do now. So I came from an industry background, so I wasn't client facing. My clients were ultimately my colleagues who I helped with the finance function. And so I felt like I just liked my people. I didn't like meeting lots of new people or being in those environments. And then when I came and joined TaxAssist, and a big part of my day to day was meeting umpteen different people in a day who might do anything. You might have a joiner or a builder in the morning, or then a brain surgeon in the afternoon. And actually, my favorite thing was and still is about this business, that variety of people, the various people we get to meet throughout our day or week or month. I love that about it. It's why I love this business. I love to help people now. But before, I didn't know that about myself.
Would you? And I love that you've kind of had that epiphany, right? Well, I didn't know that I would get on with these people until you sort of put yourself in that position, like, oh no, I'm actually really good at this, and I like schmoozing with clients. I think you and I are kind of the same. That I love working in my business. Like, I love the art and the design that I do and the brand building and all that stuff. But I also like schmoozing with clients. I like going onto Zoom meetings, and when the bad times end, I would like to go to lunches with them again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to, well, we could do that now. It's pretty much relaxing now, but like, I like schmoozing with clients, and I like, building relationships. I often say to myself, I don't have clients. I have long-term relationships. I build long-term relationships. I'm not really interested in transactions, right? Do you kind of subscribe to the same thing?
Absolutely. So we have a client who signs up. I assume we're going to be working for them for the foreseeable, that we're going to have a long-term relationship. We're still going to be supporting their business in years to come. So every conversation we have with people is on that assumption basis. Occasionally we get people who just need one-off help. They sold a property, they need to sort out their taxes for it. And we're just as happy to help them, but the relationships are where it's really at. And then even the variety of those relationships. So we have some client relationships which are still formal. We might call the client, Mr. Smith when speaking to them, and be quite polite and watch what we're saying. Whereas I might have another client who will just walk right in with no appointment into my office. We'll have a chat, a laugh, we'll probably swear at each other. And I like that variety as well, of just having to manage and sort of monitor what relationship you can have with each client. I think that's a great part of this business as well.
Scottish person swearing at people that they like. You surprise me, Hannah. Not to be biased or anything, but you surprise me. Is that something that's culturally appropriate in Scotland, or?
Very much so in my
I can say that because I have visited and I know the culture a little bit. I know it for about 6 days, but I know it. My last name's McGraw. It's Irish. It's not quite Scottish, but I know a little bit.
Yeah, there are a lot of swear words that we use affectionately
Of course.
towards each other in terms of endearment.
And that kind of, we've unpacked a lot there, and it kind of leads me to like my next question, which is mostly about values. I want to know, we've kind of established the fact that you love what you do, you know that you're an entrepreneur, you know that you have this entrepreneurial mindset, right? This entrepreneurial spirit about helping a variety of types of clients, all different walks of life, all different goals and ambitions that they want to achieve. What would you say is the main driving force of your business? Like, it could be what we've already talked about. It could be money. It could be, I just want to help others. I want to change the world. I want to leave legacy. I want to be charitable. What do you think is the driving force or values that you bring to your business?
Well, the money's obviously always good when running a business, like you
well
said
from an accountant.
Yeah, that's a key part of it. But for me, one of the real things that I've got out of this business and why I keep pushing this business forward is helping people. So not only helping my clients with their businesses, helping my team develop. So I want them to be able to work towards their next qualification or their next career goal. I definitely don't want this business to be a stepping stone where they come and get some experience and then go off and join a bigger firm. I want them to know that they can stay here and grow with us, and their roles can then grow with us as well. So I'll support them through training, both provided by myself, by our franchisor, external training, their professional development. They always will get support with that from a financial and a time perspective from me wherever possible. And then also people out with that. So we really want to be part of the local community. So we'll sponsor local football teams, bowling clubs, and take part in anything, whether there's like a Halloween shop decorating competition. We want to be part of that. If you follow me, you'll know I love Halloween. And then beyond that, just this year, I joined the board of a local charity who we've been working closely with for a few years now. It's called Cash for Kids. And as it says, we help children and young people in our local area who might be affected by poverty, illness. They might be a young carer themselves, or there's a disability there. And we make sure that, anything they need, we support them with. And being able to give back in both time and financially to a cause like that, and now support it from a board level, is just an amazing position that I've found myself in. And is another thing that I didn't realize about myself. I didn't really realize how altruistic I was until sort of reflecting on what I'm trying to do with this business.
No, that's beautiful, and I really like the first bit of that, where even the people that come in to work for you, never mind the clients. Yes, of course, we want long-term clients. We don't want to have lots of churn with clients, right? We don't want that open door, revolving door of clients. We want them to feel welcome and stay, but we also want our employees to feel that way too. So we don't want this to be a stepping stone for them. We want them to come in, whatever entry level, junior level they are, and level up with us. And to me, another way of saying that is culture, right? Culture is so important. I think employees are looking for that more and more today, whether you're a culture of one or you have a team and you're trying to build a culture of 5 or 6 or 60 or 6,000. I think culture is really, really important. I think that mindset is here to stay. And it sounds like that's what you're building at TaxAssist.
Yeah, I would agree. And I only worked for one company before I came to work for TaxAssist. Now, it ended up being bought over a few times, and by the time I left, we were owned by Dell, the computer company. And the culture was, from joining when it was a small UK-based business, the culture was fantastic, but I guess I took it for granted because I hadn't worked anywhere else apart from, retail jobs while I was still at school. So I just worked with this great group of people who were also my friends, some of whom are still my friends. And I didn't think anything else of it. And then when I came and joined TaxAssist, the team was understandably very different from what it is now. It was a bit of a shock to the system that, not everyone just works seamlessly together, and not everyone seems to like each other. And why is there friction in this office? Why is it uncomfortable being in this place? So that's something that I've really put a lot of time and effort into changing and creating the team that we do have now, so that even if those people decide to change industries or change professions, the roots of our culture and what it's like to be part of the TaxAssist team will remain constant.
Excellent. I love that answer. And it sort of leads me into kind of like my next question. As a as kind of sort of like a representative, someone who has kind of clout in your franchise, right, at TaxAssist, what do you find are some of the biggest challenges in your business right now? Like, what do you find you're struggling with? What's one thing you're like an obstacle you're trying to overcome?
Well, this past year, like many businesses across the UK, I don't know if it's the same over there, staffing has been a big issue. So staff retention, we've had staff leave to change industries altogether. And I think a big part of that has been the pandemic, in my opinion. You know, people have been stuck in their homes, not able to go on holiday, not able to go out with friends or family. There was very little they had their own say over and that they could control in their lives. And then I think when opportunities have come up to change what they have to do every single day of the week, then changing their career seemed like a good option. And I know from speaking to other TaxAssist franchisees and other business owners in general, this problem has been across the board. Now, we're lucky now, we're fully staffed again. We've been through that. We've got a brilliant team in place now. But that's been this year's biggest challenge for us. Our next challenge being accountants is getting through to January, because in the UK, January is our tax return deadline. So now we're needing the end of November. That's where our focus is going.
So doing a podcast on a Thursday is probably not the best use of your time, but I know you don't want to say that to me, but she'll tell me in the DMs on LinkedIn later. Thank you for wasting my time. I got to get back to work. That's great, Hannah. I appreciate that answer, because I think that is a problem for, like you said, many businesses. We are not unfamiliar with a problem like that here in Canada. I just have a small team of like freelancers around me, so I don't have like regular on salary staff. But I know so many businesses where employees are just looking for the thing that we just talked about. They're looking for better culture, and they're looking for better flexibility, and they're looking for better terms for them to work. I think people have tuned into the fact, and the pandemic has educated us all on this. Oh, I wasn't meant to live just to work. I wasn't born so I can work till the day I die. There's more to life, right? I don't have to work in a crap job that keep me depressed for the rest of my life till I'm 65, 75. There's more to life. And I think they're looking for more personal culture. I think they're looking for more employment culture. I think they're looking for just more liberty in both their work and personal life. So I'm hoping that businesses can start to tune in to that a little bit more, because we might be having a completely different discussion in 2022. If 2020 was the great pandemic and 2021 was the great resignation, I don't know what's coming in the new year. I hope that employers like yourself and other small businesses and other big businesses can kind of start to hone in on that. Which kind of leads me to my next question. If we've discussed your challenges and pain points and obstacles, what's next for like you? It could be you personally, or it could be for the brand, for the franchise. What's next for you and your brand? What's a big idea you're chasing? What's an ambition you have? Like, what's next for you?
So the next big goal for me is actually buying out my business partner. So he still owns a share in the business, and the plan has always been that I would buy him out. I would have liked to have done it a year ago, but with the pandemic happening, I was drawn to work more in my business than on my business, which you've got to do, because if I hadn't put my time into that, there wouldn't be a business to buy out at this point. So you have to do what the business needs. So that's my current focus. And I keep coming up with new ideas that I want to focus on and sort of writing them down. And then I keep stopping myself and being like, no, buy him out first and then work on these ideas. So that's the big thing for me. Keep developing my team. So once we get to February, once we've got January out the way, I'll sit down with each member of my team, find out what they're looking for, where they want to be, and we'll put goals into place and plans for those goals together and start working on those. And then in future, I would like to have a 5th shop. We've got 4 currently, but I want perfection. I have very high standards, so I always feel like, oh, I need this to be better before I open the 5th shop. I want this to be just right. And I know that it's probably going to take some convincing to tell myself things are good enough, go and do the 5th shop. So I don't know. I think once I've bought my business partner out, I'll probably look to start working with a mentor or a coach to really make me accountable for those goals. Because I think when you're a business owner, it's easy to not be held accountable because there's no one you're answering to.
It's also easy to fall into the trap of safety first and avoiding risk, right?
Especially when you're an accountant.
Right, when you're all about numbers. But the greatest entrepreneurs of all of us, you know, the Gary V's and the Grant Cardones and the monoliths out there, they'll tell you they didn't do anything without risk. Of course, they took risk, calculated risk, but of course, if you have 4 franchises that are humming along and doing well, of course, we need to look at having the 5th franchise if the numbers, even if the other 4 are 98, 99% perfect and they're not 100% perfect, of course, that'll be like the next logical step for you. So, I mean, I'm excited for you. What's your timeline for that? Inside of 5 years?
We'll buy my business partner out. It's within a year. And then, inside the 5 years for the 5th shop, I think what I'll probably have to do is set myself like, okay, when X, Y, and Z are happening in the other 4 shops, that's when it's time. Because if it's an invisible if and when, I'll keep probably talking myself out of it. Being an accountant and being an entrepreneur can sometimes be at war with each other because we're generally taught to be risk adverse. But then that is where my business partner has taught me a lot. He was the one who started this business from nothing and had the scary bit of how will the bills get paid? How will the mortgage be paid? I've not had that fear, but it's about taking the calculated risks and knowing when the time is and knowing that although it costs money, income will then flow from that decision to pay for itself in time.
Excellent. I want to wrap up with a rapid fire round with you. Okay. So these are just really easy, but I think the first question might be tricky for a Scottish person. So we're gonna go with question number 1, Hannah: whiskey or beer? Right.
I don't really like either.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes,
okay.
I'm probably more likely to drink a beer, but I did have a cocktail with whiskey in it the other day. So yeah, let's say whiskey then.
Road trip or tropical destination?
Oh, tropical.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Can I say neither?
Yeah, I figured you would answer that. That's fine. Just pick the blanket one Star Wars. Everyone else does. Regular books or ebooks?
Regular books.
Skydiving or swimming with sharks?
Are you in a cage with the sharks? Like, are you separate from the sharks?
I was thinking it's cage diving. I was thinking in my head too, that question is, I'm in cage diving with great whites off the coast of South Africa. So that's where my head goes.
Yeah, if I'm like fully secure and they can't get at me, the sharks.
Yeah, because those nasty clouds can get you while you're...
Yeah, yeah.
Team sport or in the gym?
Gym.
Sailboat or speedboat?
I think I've only ever been on a sailboat, so let's go sailboat.
Are you a morning bird or night owl?
Morning bird, definitely.
I figured being an accountant, not doing taxes at 2 or 3 in the morning. Well, some are. Introvert or extrovert?
I'm that middle one where I'm extroverted with people I'm comfortable with, with people I know and I'm familiar with. But if you put me in a crowd of strangers, I'll hate it.
And
I'm
finally,
terrible at quick fire. I'm like giving all these buts and ifs and maybes for
she's
your
like,
quick
well, I don't like
fire.
Star Wars or Star Trek, and session over. I'm ending the call now. He said with all his Star Wars crap in the background. Well, obviously Hannah and I can't be friends. And finally, I think I know the answer to this one: LinkedIn or Instagram?
LinkedIn.
Hannah Campbell, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. If people wanted to connect with you or get more information on TaxAssist and the work that you do, where can people go to connect with you? What website or social media thing? Where do you hang out? Where can people connect with you?
Well, we have got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but if you want to speak to me directly, the best way is to text me on LinkedIn.
Right on. Thank you so much again, Hannah, for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.